So today I'm going to be going over factorising quadratics where the x squared coefficient is 1. So factorising is the opposite of expanding, so you're putting the expanded form back into brackets. So whenever you're factorising, you want to have two numbers in the brackets. So you want to have x plus a and x plus b. So the numbers will be two numbers that multiply to make the integer term and two numbers that add up to make the number before x. So we'd write down the products of 12, so 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4, and we'd look at the numbers and see which ones add up to make the number before x, so in this case 7. So the two numbers that add up to make 7 are 3 and 4, so it'd be x plus 3 and x plus 4. And let's expand that out to double check it. So it'd be x squared plus 3x plus 4x, so it'd be x squared plus 7x, and then 3 multiplied by 4, that is going to be 12. So yes, that is correct. So it would be x plus 3 in brackets and x plus 4 in brackets. So that is how you factorise a quadratic. So now I have some questions for you to try. So pause the video, try the questions, come back and watch the solutions. So let's write down the product of 6. But we know that it needs to add up to make a negative. So if you do -1 and -6, they still make +6, but it adds to make -7. So that's not what we want. And -2 and -3, that makes +6. And yes, it adds up to make -5. So that's what we want. So in cases where you have a negative for the x term and a positive for the integer term, you want to use negatives, as two negatives multiplied together make a positive and they add to make a negative. So in this case you've got -2 and -3 as I just went through. So it'd be x minus 2 and x minus 3. As when multiplied together they make 6, and when you add them together they make -5. So that would be the final answer. Okay, so let's start off by writing down the products of -15. So we can have -1 and 15, 1 and -15, -3 and 5, 3 and -5. So let's look at these and see which ones add up to make +2. So -1 and 15, that makes 14, so it can't be those ones. 1 and -15, that makes -14, so it can't be that. -3 and 5, 5 minus 3 is 2, so yes, it is going to be that. So it's going to be x minus 3 and x plus 5. And it doesn't matter which way you write it, it could be x plus 5 and x minus 3, as long as it's -3 and +5. Because -3 multiplied by 5 is -15, and 5 minus 3 is 2, and that's what we wanted. So that is the final answer. So again, let's write down the products of the integer, so in this case -20. So we have -1 and 20, 1 and -20, -2 and 10, 2 and -10, -4 and 5, 4 and -5. And remember that -x is the same as -1x, so we want the products to add up to make -1. And 4 and -5, well, 4 minus 5, that's -1, so that is going to be our products. So it's going to be x plus 4 and x minus 5. As 4 multiplied by -5 is -20, and 4 minus 5 is -1. So yes, that's going to be correct, so that is the final answer. Okay, so we're now going to do some slightly trickier ones. So pause, have a go at the first one, watch the solution, then pause again. Okay, so in this case, we have no x term. So we basically want the products to add up to 0x. So we know that they're both square numbers, and the square root of 36 is 6. And 6 multiplied by -6 is -36, and 6 minus 6 is 0. So those are the numbers we want. So now we have found the numbers to go inside the brackets. So you can do x minus 6 and x plus 6, as -6 multiplied by 6 is -36, and -6 plus 6 is 0. And that is what we wanted, as when we expand it, it will make what we were trying to factorise. So whenever you have a question like this, you find the square number of the integer term, then you go from there. Okay, this is a similar one to the last one, so pause the video, have a go yourself. So 49 is a square number, and the square of 49 is 7. So we can use 7 and minus 7, as if we multiply them two together, we get negative 49, and when we add them together, it makes 0. So it's going to be x plus 7 and x minus 7. This one is slightly trickier, but pause, have a go, come back to see the solution. So in this case, we can work out what makes minus 9y squared. Well, minus 3y and 3y, if you multiply them together, you'd get minus 9y squared. And if you add them together, you get 0. So you're basically doing the square root of 9y squared. So we can do x minus 3y and x plus 3y. And we can double check this. So x multiplied by x would be x squared, x multiplied by 3y would be 3yx, and minus 3y multiplied by x would be minus 3yx, so those would cancel each other out. And then minus 3y multiplied by 3y, well, that's going to be minus 9y squared. So we get what we started with. So that is correct. So that question was similar to what we were doing before, but slightly different. Okay, so this question was similar to the last question, so pause, have a go yourself, come back to watch the solution. So for this one, we can do 2x minus 10, as the square of 4x squared is 2x, and the square of positive 100 is 10, so we can use minus 10 and positive 10. So this time it'd be 2x plus 10, because 2x multiplied by 2x would be 4x squared, and then the minus 10 multiplied by 2x would be minus 20, and then we'd get positive 20, so those would cancel each other out, and then the minus 10 multiplied by positive 10 would be minus 100, so we've factorised it correctly for the 4x squared minus 100. So that's the end of today's video. Comment down below what topics you'd like to see next. Click on this video that YouTube recommends so you can ace your exams.